Hello you guys, today's video I will be talking to you, yes, about my TBR. It is late in the month, but I have a late start this year, but I'm thinking I will get better. But anyways, I want to talk to you briefly about the books that I'm currently reading and that I will be reading for the month of January. All right, come with. Alright you guys, Jambo, Karibu, my name is Chilanda and this is Library Without Borders. So, I have a couple of books here that I want to present to you that I will be reading for this month. So, as I mentioned in my previous video and in my other previous video, I have 3 books that I did not read in the month of December, so I'm actually reading them in this month. And the 2 books, because my other copy is like upstairs in my room, and those are the 2 books that I had set myself to read in December that I didn't get to read. So the first one is God is a Black Woman by Christina Cleveland, PhD. I actually finished this book, and this is a nonfiction. It is her story and her coming to terms with the idea of a Black God via the Black Madonna, and also her dismantling this whole belief system that we've been born into of the white man God image. And it's her journey through France, finding out those Black Madonnas, and just dealing with her life and the people that she grew up with, including her parents. I really like the story. I enjoyed the book, because I'm not sure how many of you watched my book on haul. I had a few books that were about like Christianity, Jesus, God factor and all that, and I explained it in that video that I went through a period where I wanted to know what happened to Black people's beliefs. Why were we followers of white people's God? You know, what happened to our belief? And I was ready for this. You know, it's not my first introduction to the idea of a Black God, so I was ready for this, and I was like, oh, I see what you mean. I thought that too. I'll talk about it more in my wrap-up video. And then the next one that I also finished reading, it is A Woman of Endurance by Dalma Figueroa. You guys, this book was fantastic. It gave me all the feels that it was supposed to. Like, I read this book I think in 3 days, and that's because I had things to do, but had it not been for that, I would have probably finished it in 1 day. It is the story of Paula. Paula is this Black African girl taken from West Africa in the 1800s, and she's brought to Puerto Rico, living in this big hacienda. I'm gonna talk about this book more in my wrap-up video, but I'm just giving you a little blurb of the story, and it's what the title says, A Woman of Endurance. You guys, I can't wait to tell you about this book and read you some of the quotes, because I was emotionally affected. Like, the things that she went through, that she endured at the hands of overseers on the plantation that she was. Oh my God, you guys. No, I will talk to you more about this book. Stay tuned for it. And the other book that I was supposed to read in the month of December is Beasts of Prey. And that's a YA book written by Ayana Gray. And I'm enjoying it so far, you guys. I'm not done, but I'm enjoying it so far. And it is the story of Kofi and Akon. And what I discovered about this book, it's a lot of the language that the author uses. I actually have a list that I will put on the screen in my wrap-up video of all the words that she mentioned. I was like, oh, I recognize this word. It's Swahili for this, Swahili for that. And you know, Jambo, Karibu is Swahili. Hakuna Matata. I know you guys know Hakuna Matata. And first of all, it's not Hakuna Matata. It's Hakuna Matata. You know, Matata. Not Matata. It's Hakuna Matata. Please say with me, Hakuna Matata. Okay? But anyway, so I'm enjoying the story. And essentially, it's these 2 young kids who come from different parts of Lukosa, which is the town in this book, and they both have various reasons why they need to go and seek the Shetani, was this beast that the town of Lukosa is in fear of, because it's reputed to have killed people, and obviously they're looking to have someone or people capture it so that the town can actually live in peace. And Echo and Kofi, as I mentioned, have different reasons for why they want to hunt down the beast, but then they find each other and are forced to go on to this journey together. So that's basically where I am. I don't know anything else, but I will talk more about it in my wrap up once I finish. And the other books that I want to introduce for the month of January, I would love to finish the series and the Hoop series by Kennedy Ryan, and this one is Hookshot because I already read Longshot and Blockshot. And this is essentially the story of Kenan Ross and Lotus. And I remember Lotus. Lotus is Iris's cousin, so I remember her story. And Kenan is friends with August. So obviously, I can see that there's gonna be a link. There's gonna be interconnection between these people, and it was Jared and Banner. So they're all interconnected somehow. And in this, it says, a single divorced dad in the final years of his basketball career, Kenan Ross's perfect life has blown up in his face. He's still picking up the pieces when he meets Lotus Dupree, a wildflower, a storm, a kick to his gut, and a wrench in his plans from the moments their eyes meet. He promised himself he'd never trust a woman again, but he's never wanted anyone the way he wants love. Now I remember Kenan's story in August's and Iris's story. I think he was the one with divorced with like a wife that was literally making his life miserable. I see that. At 25, Lotus is finally living out her dream, becoming a force in New York's fashion scene. Focused on her future and not looking for love, she's seen where trusting a man leaves you. Kenan is the last thing she needs, but from the moment they meet, she's drawn in, even if he's 11 years her senior and her opposite in every way. Oh, we have that older, younger dynamic going on. I see. When Kenan moves to New York for the summer to be near his daughter, Lotus can no longer avoid the attraction that pulses between them. She still won't let him in, not after what she's been through, except Kenan wants her so badly, he'll do anything to knock down her defenses. Oh, I'm excited. There's no one that writes romance like Kennedy Ryan. And I'm saying this because I've had my share of romance. I already showed you back at the beginning. I was mostly into historical romance, but I also read enough romance to know that this lady she is quite she's it. So can't wait to dive in this one. And next, hoping to get to, I'm gonna say these are my hopefuls. Let's just say my hopefuls. I want to read this, Mother to Mother by Sindiwe Magona. And Sindiwe Magona is an award-winning author, motivational speaker, Xhosa teacher, from South Africa. So what is this story about? Okay, well, that is the blurb. It says, a 25th anniversary edition of this now classic novel exploring the complicated legacy of colonialism and apartheid through the lens of a Black African woman whose son has just murdered a white American aid worker, based on the true story of Fulbright scholar Amy Beale's murder. The book takes the form of a letter to Beale's mother. It feels like, I already feel it, like I'm already like, oh my god, what would I do? What would I do in both scenarios? Like, what would I do? But I hope to read this and obviously have a review for you guys. And finally, I would love to read Homegoing by Ya Gyasi. I've heard so much about this book and I've owned this book for quite a while. And Transcendent Kingdom by both the author. I was hoping to do a vlog, but you know what, guys, don't quote me on that because it's late in the month already. Like I said, I'm not even sure I'll get through all these, but let's see. So this is the first one, and it says, Ghana, 18th century. Two half-sisters, Efia and Esi, are born into different villages, each unaware of the other. One will marry an Englishman and lead a life of comfort in the palatial rooms of the notorious Cape Coast castle. The other will be captured in a raid in her village imprisoned in the very same castle and shipped off to America to be sold into slavery. Oh, she goes that far. Okay. With breathtaking scope, Homegoing follows the parallel path of these sisters and their descendants through 8 generations. Wow. From the traders of the Gold Coast to the plantations of Mississippi, from the Asante struggles against British colonialism to the first stirrings of the American Civil War, from the jazz of 20th century Harlem to the sparkling shores of modern Ghana. Alright, you guys, so I'm happy to actually pick this book because I remember the other day I was actually talking to my husband. I was telling him I would love to hear the slave narrative, but directly from the Africans that remained in Africa. Like, imagine the families that had their loved ones taken away onto those slave ships and the Africans that stayed. I want a book that talked about the minute, the second, the day the family realizes that these people are not coming back, and how they went and dealt with the aftermath, like the dead silence of that night. And just, I want that perspective. So I'm happy to hear how this Ghanaian author is gonna write that part from maybe the Africans that stayed. So we'll see. And this one is Gifty is a 6-year-old PhD candidate in neuroscience at the Stanford University School of Medicine, studying reward-seeking behavior in mice and the neural circuits of depression and addiction. Her brother, Nana, was a gifted high school athlete who died of a heroin overdose after an ankle injury left him hooked on Oxycontin. Her suicidal mother is living in her bed. Gifty is determined to discover the scientific basis for the suffering she sees all around her. But even as she turns to the hard sciences to unlock the mystery of her family's loss, she finds herself hungering for her childhood faith and grappling with the evangelical church in which she was raised, whose promise of salvation remains as tantalizing as is elusive. There. Alright, you guys, so those are my hopefuls for the month of January. I hope that I can read them and give you all my thoughts on the books. Any of you guys read the books? Let me know what I'm in for, and if not, are you planning to pick them up, or are you waiting for me to give you more of my thoughts on them? Let me know. Let's chat in the comments, because that was part of my goal. I want to be more engaging with you, my subscribers, my lovely people. So please don't be shy. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Okay? And I will see you in my next video, you guys. Ciao.